Hi, welcome to episode 15 of Nasco Bay Speed Shop, FJ Holden Jive Talking. Today, look, we're continuing to do some different things. We're actually with my FJ, the two-door panel wagon. So I just wanted to show a few things that we've been talking about, and I wanted to focus on the anti-theft part of it. Now, I've got the padlock that's actually been connected up between the steering wheel and the gear shift, so you can actually see how things lock on. Now, this is a genuine item, and when you actually look at the Holden documentation, you can see, well, there it is, and it's just it's a case of, sorry, a bit of a bumpy camera work there, but we're sort of moving around as we're going. Just to have a couple of keys, and that works really well. And then this will just unlock, and then off we go. But that's I use that for my FJ Holden, the Nasco panel van, and also my ute that I had. So look, that works really, really well. So I'm pretty happy with that. Now, the other thing that you could have is these locks. See how they're on the window locks? That works really well, and it's a matter, if I can just lean across here, you know, you're opening that, and there you are. So your window can't get jimmied by a coat hanger or things like that. I remember when I first bought my ute as a 17-year-old kid, I locked my keys in the car a few times, and I actually had to get in through here with a bit of a coat hanger. But those locks stop that happening, and they're pretty easy to install if you come across them. You know, it's just two screws there and there, and they bolt up to the little lever that goes down on the quarter glass. So, you know, that's a terrific little thing to have. But what I've also got is the red venties. Now, these venties are just great, because what they do is they send air, they scoop air from the quarter glass, and it's directed to the bottom of the floor, and then it comes up to the passengers from there. So from that perspective, the venties are really good. But what I wanted to also show you is, I had talked about in one of the episodes earlier on a little anti-theft device. So I'm just going to bring it into shot now. And I was actually given this yesterday by one of our subscribers, and it's called an auto clutch lock. Auto clutch lock. And without getting into it too much, I'm just going to hop out for a second, and we'll just sort of go a little bit live and bumpy. And if I get down on the car here, you know, that fits over. That fits over right there. So, you know, it can either go on the brake or the clutch, and then you put a padlock on that. See, it's got holes on there, and then those pedals can't be depressed. So I think that's a fantastic little device that you can actually have on your Holden. So I'm actually going to use that. I think that's great. But one of the other handy things that you can do is the good old-fashioned rotor button. So if you're parking your car, you can just pop the hood and open your distributor cap. So it's just the two clips either side, and then this rotor button will actually come off the distributor shaft. Now, with the rotor button itself, it only comes off one way, and then you can just put it in your pocket and off you go. Now, because you know, it's an essential piece of equipment for your car can't be started without a rotor button. So someone's got to have the appropriate rotor button for your car as a spare part, so that they're able to start it and travel away. But look, while we're at it, I showed people a champion gapping tool in a recent episode. But look, my dad had this in his toolbox, so I'd like to you know, implore people to, you know, have a look around old things. And if Dad's got stuff in his toolbox or in the shed or wherever, you know, here we are. That's a gapping tool to increase or decrease the gap size of the spark plug. And then we've got the appropriate measurements of the wire to be able to measure the gap. So look, you know, that's a great little tool, and it also adds to a little bit of nostalgia as well. But look, if we just have a quick look in my FJ, I mean, I've been thinking about how am I going to plan this out a little bit as I sort of pan around, and here look here they've cut this out for a radio. Now I don't know whether it was when the Turnbulls had the car or the farmer before them, but it's a case of, you know, I'll see how the radio I've got, the Phillips transistor, goes in there. But if I put an air chief in there, well, you would see this, you know, it would only go so far. You can see where the line covers up to for the Holden script plate that goes across there. So then this is visible underneath of that. So, you know, I'd either want to get rid of that or go the whole hog and either put the radio here or use a little three-sided box and have the radio, you know, hanging underneath here. Now this particular car came with a parcel shelf, so I've got the parcel shelf out at the moment, it being sanded and ready for paint. So you know, it'll go back in when the time comes. But look, this is a nice car, and I'm just sort of planning out because I've got a few things to go in here. I've got the cigarette lighter to go, so, you know, around here. I've got a fan coming in, so I'll need either a switch, and I would do the switch in line with the radio like I did last time, and have either a push-pull switch here or have it actually underneath the dash. I don't know yet. I've got demisters for the windscreen, and also I'm going to need some push-pull lights for the reverse light, and a few other accessories that I've got for the car as well. But the things that I have been talking about lately have included the mud flaps for it, and I had said to some of the subscribers, you know, I had some Nasco mud flaps, so I bought these. You know, they're quite, you know, they're like a neoprene, they're quite firm, and that's fine. But before I got hold of them, I'd actually made a set. So I just went to Clark Rubber, and I had the right dimensions, and then I made the appropriate bracketry, and I sort of visited a friend, and he had a real one, so I took the measurements, and you know, that's ready to go. But the other thing that I was super pleased with was, and I have talked about mud flaps, but this is one of the pair that I made. So I'm super duper happy with that one. And as you can see, it's got that kick to the back of it. So you can see, you know, that's obviously the front, and where the kick is, this is to the back. So that's really as dirt and mud flings to the back of the car. Where the kick ends are, it's a case of, you know, those pieces of dirt are caught where the mud flap kicks in, and that just stops them going any further back. But you know, I'm in the stage at the moment of planning the FJ. What I'm going to do, you know, we'll have the pull-to door handles on it. I'll fix the holes that are here, you know, put new door cards on it. We've got some, besides the venties, we've got a red weather shield coming, so I'm pretty happy about that. Up here I talked about the fan, but we'll also have a dash rack here as well, and room for the thermometer. So, you know, we're getting a few things ready for it. The radio will go in, and also the appropriate speaker there. So we'll do a little segment on installation of the radio and speaker, just to give people some handy hints on how to do it to make that installation nice and easy. But as you can see, I had talked about the choke that I had being a bit ratty, and this one certainly is. So from that perspective, we've got another garden variety choke to go on it, and I've also bought one that's got the replacement knobs as we go from the black knobs to the white knobs. So look, we're getting there. We're nearly ready to start the demolition and reconstruction phase. So we're nearly out of acquisition, but we are getting there. On the van at the moment, it's got the the speedo reading of 30829, and it was, as I remember, Gillian's soccer mum's taxi. So that was a good little car when it was at Glen Iris in Melbourne. So it's a car that I'm really looking forward to getting back on the road. Needs new sills, inner and outers on it, but it will be a nice car, and we'll do another little episode on the panel wagon coming up shortly. But anyway, look, I hope you've enjoyed a little bit about the anti-theft things that you could do with your FJ, with the quarter glass locks and the steering lock, and also what you could do with the rotor button and the mud flaps. So folks, I hope you have a nice rest of the day, and we'll look forward to talking to you again on FJ Holden Jive Talking. Thank you.